What's up, guys? This is your boy like what happened duo, and I got a very funny video here with you, and I like it because again, gamers double speak. I always say they always double speak. They say what they say. How can a company, never as a company, how can a person figure out what people want when people are full of shit? That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna skip through this video. This is Watch Mojo's. I'm gonna skip through a couple of videos, but I want you to hear what he says, and we're gonna end the title because it's crazy. Now the answer, of course, is again. I'm asking for the people who never play these games, right? People who were born like 2015, 2000, and young. Who's young? And you want, oh man, I would love to get that back. You will have to spend money, but you can go ahead or you can go missing out. I'm like, oh man, that was a great game. I didn't get a chance to get it, or go and get it. That's your two options. Or you could get it by NOS and Nintendo Online. Okay, this is for Nintendo game. They have other games in that's not Nintendo related, so that's what I'm thinking. They have, well, the funny part about it, I think only 5 or 6 games is not Nintendo related. Everything else is Nintendo games. But anyway, so I feel for you guys, and that does suck. Again, I wasn't around where Magnavox and Atari and all that stuff got out there, but I was like, I missed out on that. Keep on moving. The best I could tell you, for your mental health, that's the best thing I could tell you. But for you people who are living in this age, and yes, I don't, money's tight, stuff's strapped. Even as broke as I was when I came to America, and I was broke. Because all I had was enough. My mom bought me a bed, and that's it. I had a bed in my room for about a year and a half. I didn't have nothing in my room, my bedroom, except for a bed. That's it. Closet was that. Didn't have a dresser. Didn't have none of that stuff. That's all I had. I still bought games and kept my games and never resell my games. I was smart about all about my games because the game was like basically I could buy more games now than I was back then. But even though it was like 2 or 3 games at the most, and that's at the most. What hell? Sorry, most of them was played through Blockbuster because Blockbuster was still around that time. But let's check this out here, and y'all see what I'm talking about.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and with the Nintendo Switches and Steam's Deck, it's all too easy to forget there were entire generations of handheld devices with glorious games that we might never get to play again without shelling out hundreds of dollars to relive our childhoods.
Remember what he just said, without selling out hundreds of dollars to replay our childhood. Remember that. That is very key. That is very key in this, why I'm even doing this video.
Well, they cost me a lot. More dough than you make in a year.
Oh, yeah? Which year? I've had a couple good ones.
Oh, really?
Okay, one.
Yeah.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe. Man, we missed the good old days of a solid 2D shooter. And the gameplay together perfectly.
Respect to
Love
Astro
for
Boy.
the IP.
Respect to Astro Boy. You ever play this game? Well, it
Kid
does
Icarus
look.
Uprising.
Kid Icarus. Yes.
Whatever you understand. Did I mention I'm starting to sleep?
Now what?
Most gamers today have no idea who Kid Icarus is beyond his appearances in the Super Smash Bros. Games. And to their credit, that's fair. Kid Icarus had only 2 games under his belt by the time Uprising released. Keeping his only other game locked to the 3DS isn't doing anything to help maintain his credibility. Ditching the platforming gameplay of his OG adventures, the new Kid Icarus was a wisecracker in this third-person shooter full of challenging bosses, expansive environments, and intense on-rails shooting galleries. Really, the only thing holding the game back was the convoluted control scheme, relying on the stylus on the bottom touchscreen for aiming. However, this is something that could be easily remedied with a port and some adjustments. It's just up to Nintendo if they want to make the effort to give Kid another chance on their shiny new hardware.
I am Pit, servant of the goddess of light, and you are history!
What was that all about?
Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure.
Okay. Kid Icarus. Fun game. I have never. That's an antagonist. Hades was one of the best antagonists, and the writing was chef's kiss. Love the writing. Love that game. That game is, I've not played the game in a long time, but that game is really a good game. And I bought that because I look at the reviews, and some of the reviews wasn't really nice towards the game because of the whole control, blah, blah, blah. But I picked it up, and I enjoyed the shit out of that game. Enjoy. If you ever get to buy this game, I highly recommend it. Here's another game I highly recommend too. Back to back. Back to back.
Falling smack on both sides of the abysmal Sonic 06 release, DS players got some of the best Sonic games since the Genesis era. Combining elements of Sonic's 2D glory days with 3D graphics in 2.5D and 3D sections, gameplay takes place across both screens with either Sonic or Blaze the Cat zipping around levels at top speed, jumping between the top and bottom screens with ease. Gameplay itself is quintessential Sonic, but that's what made it so much fun. The goal of the game was, as it has always been with the series, gotta go fast. The only downside was that due to the speed of the games, they were relatively short, but a grading system gave players a reason to replay levels. The use of the dual screen would make porting the game difficult, so without a DS, these adventures are likely to zip by you in a blue blur.
And also, go to the jukebox on the Endure channel. I have this whole soundtrack on the jukebox. One of the best soundtracks. I'm sorry. I like Sonic Adventure, I like all this stuff, but the best soundtrack, I can listen to almost every song on this soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, Sonic Mania is good music too. I love it. But this right here, this is Chef's Kiss again. This is the quintessential soundtrack. I love hearing the music on this. This soundtrack is the best soundtrack I ever watched. Sonic Rush is the shit, man. Good job. Man, I just love the soundtrack. Gameplay is fun as hell. Can't argue that point at all. Gameplay is fun as hell.
While we did get the Wii U Super Mario 3D World on Switch, unfortunately, the 3DS-only 3D Land is still trapped on the increasingly retro handheld.
And I have never played this Mario. My sister have, and we could play it if we want, and I shout out, I gave it to Trip as well on my trip down there. But I've never played this Mario.
However, there are fans who prefer 3D Land over 3D World. Despite being on the handheld, 3D Land somehow feels bigger, with more variety to its level design and mechanics, whereas 3D World's levels are designed to be more approachable, given its focus on multiplayer. Many gameplay innovations in 3D Land have made their way into modern 3D Mario games, in particular Super Mario Odyssey. Given 3D Land's use of the stereoscopic 3D as one of its core gameplay features, porting the game could prove to be tricky, but getting a 3D Land and 3D World re-release combo would introduce players who missed the 3DS generation.
Okay, remember what you just heard him say, a 3D Land and a 3D World combo. We have a 3D World already combo with Bowser's New Fury, but combo, okay? Hear that? What does that remind you of? If you didn't know by now, I'll tell you at the end of the video, but that's what I'm saying. Listen to what the words these people use.
To one of Mario's best 3D adventures. The Collectathon's Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie are still widely regarded as some of the best platformers on the N64 besides Mario. While the Bear and Bird's N64 adventures continue to receive heaps of praise and accolades, their often forgotten Game Boy Advance adventure is left completely out of their history. Taking place between the events of those two acclaimed titles, Grunty's Revenge manages to shrink down the traditionally enormous adventures of the duo to only 5 levels. This works in the game's on-the-go design, as does the lower difficulty of game.
And I'm not against this game. Never played this game as well too. I'm not good. Basically, the end, he said it all depends on Microsoft, and it does. It all depends on Microsoft. So we'll go to there. But again, great game. I bet you it is. I never played it, but hey. And here's the point. I never played it. I also never played another two other games that's on here that I'm not gonna show because they're just saying stuff like I have pinball for Pokemon and another game for it was. I missed out. I move on. Done. I'm not gonna go and buy it because it is what it is. I don't feel it's worth to go crazy on this.
Characters of the Mushroom Kingdom a chance to develop their personalities much further than the usual platformers, and the series is all the better for it.
Now, just showing you that this game, they talk about Mario Luigi Bowser Inside Story.
Professor Layton
good.
series.
And the Professor Layton series. That one, I totally understand. That one, I totally understand, I think. But you know what it is? For the first game, I love it. And I've bought every single game. Why? Because it's a good shitting series. And I've not been disappointed yet. At all.
Fire Emblem Awakening. The Fire Emblem series is experiencing
A really
a
good
renaissance
game.
in popularity after years of obscurity. That's mostly thanks to entries like Fire Emblem Awakening, which was the
And I will say this, and it does suck. I don't have Fire Emblem Awakening, the physical. I would like to get it, and I might get it. I know it's gonna cost money, but I will get it. I bought the digital because when it first came out, it was a silent release, which was messed up, and I couldn't find the physical, so I got that, and I stick with it. And I should think I should have got the digital when I needed, when the physical I needed. That's on me. I'm stupid for not doing that. Here's the thing: I'm blaming myself. I'm not blaming the company. Other than the whole silent release, but other than that, I don't blame the company because again, I could have when it got redone up again, I could have bought it, but I didn't. That's on me.
entry point for a number of its now
And it's a good
passionate
game.
fan base.
This is a good
Everything
game.
about this entry came together harmoniously. From the combat, the music, the characters, and the tightly constructed narrative, everything about the title worked and connected with players in a way the series had previously struggled with. With the most recent Switch entries becoming overnight hits, selling millions of copies, and achieving resounding critical acclaim, many players now familiar with the series will never get to experience the title that made Fire Emblem a household name alongside the rest of Nintendo's library, because Nintendo seems complacent to leave their best entries stuck on their now dead and increasingly expensive handheld. The Legend of Zelda.
Again, you heard that, right? Dead and relevant. They're even stuck on that. Again, you hear the words these guys are saying.
A Link Between Worlds.
Very good Zelda game. Very good Zelda. And I
One of the
love
most
it.
surprising sequels of the renowned Legend of Zelda series, A Link Between Worlds, brought players back to the realm of Hyrule, as well as A Link to the Past Link and Zelda. Borrowing elements of some of the best in the series in the years between entries, A Link Between Worlds is one of the best Zelda games fans will likely never get to experience ever again. That's because, alongside other entries such as Phantom Hourglass, Nintendo has yet to port any of the DS or 3DS exclusive titles to their modern Switch. Furthermore, rather than porting the excellent updated versions of Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D, Nintendo instead gave us the base N64 versions. Yes, they still play great, but the 3D editions play so much better, and the updated visuals bring their worlds to life in a way the N64 versions simply can't. A true crime against the fandom.
Okay. See, again, hear what he's saying. Hear what he is saying. The crowd of fandom, alright?
Metroid Samus Returns. Besides obviously Metroid Prime 2 and 3, Samus Returns is the only Metroid game unplayable on modern hardware. At least out of the entries we actually care about. No one was asking for you, Federation Force.
Yes, y'all were. You're asking for a multiplayer Metroid game. See, that's what I said. Memory holding games. Y'all was asking that all the way back from Prime 1. So cut the bullshit.
Remake of the equally handheld Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Samus Returns is widely regarded as one of the best 2D entries before Metroid Dread stole that title. Well,
Yeah, now it's regarded as that. Back then, y'all didn't want to, this game didn't sell that well out the gate because y'all was hooked up on the whole MAR2S bullshit, which again, the developer, the guy who created that game says, y'all need to go out and buy Samus Returns, and y'all was like, we don't want that. We want the free game. We don't want to give money to Nintendo. Again, I'm just remember. You see, this. Let's not pigeonhole what happened at the time. Let's tell the truth. What happened at the time? Cause y'all trying to retro listen and trying to overthink. No. Y'all hated this game when it first came. I remember that shit. I've done videos on that shit. That's why I know that.
Along with many gameplay mechanics innovated by this title. Although the game
Yes,
is
it is.
exclusive to the 3DS, the bottom screen is
And also innovated by Other M. But again, once again, people bullshit about it.
primarily used for map navigation and power-up management, meaning translating the game to the Switch should be relatively easy with only a few button prompt changes. However, just like with many of their titles locked on the DS or 3DS, Nintendo doesn't seem too interested in investing the time and resources to alter the game to their modern machines.
Again, you forgot back then what y'all said about the game? That's what I'm saying. You said it now lovely, but back then when it came out, y'all didn't like that. Y'all wanted AR, MSR2, whatever it was again, the MSR2, whatever. That's what y'all wanted because it was free. And y'all said, this is way better than what Nintendo did. Again, that memory, boy, that memory gap that people have. That's what y'all said about this game. And last but not least, this part of the game. This is why I did this video. This is literally why I did this video.
Out of everything on this list, this one is by far the most demanded and the most baffling, given the property's enduring popularity. Breaking out in the late 90s, Pokemon has endured as one of the most profitable and recognizable brands in the world, with millions of fans catching and training to be the very best from the Game Boy to the 3DS, but Nintendo refuses to let these millions of fans replay the classics that made the franchise the international mega hit that it is.
Well, they kind of did with red leaf and green and blue. They did that, but that's me. But that was on the Game Boy Advance. And then you have these the original ones are on Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. That was the same style. That's on the Switch. But Pshaw, whatever. You say what you say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay. Those are, if you want that, go those games. Okay, I'm just saying.
Likely, Nintendo believes allowing players to replay the older titles will affect the sales of the newer titles, and honestly, they're right. These games were when Pokemon was at its best, narratively and gameplay-wise. However, I know that we and the millions of Pokemon fans would literally pay almost anything Nintendo asked for the chance to replay these classics again.
That's why I did this video. You hear what he just said? Let's back up a little bit.
However, I know that we and the millions of Pokemon fans would literally pay almost anything Nintendo asked for the chance to replay these classics again. The money is right there for the taking, Nintendo.
Hear what you say. But then when they released Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, y'all bitched. Y'all bitched about it. Y'all say it's too expensive for those games, didn't you? See? And then when they released a Fire Emblem game, as they did with the Wizard, it's NSO. It's not a digital game. Even though he says, I got a next video with him, when it's all digital. When you said you don't own nothing, best have a physical. What? Hello? What the hell are you talking about? You see how crazy this shit is? You could say it. But my phrase, speak with your wallet, means something. We'll give out the money, whatever. And then when a game comes out, y'all be like, oh, Nintendo just selling back nostalgia. Ain't that what y'all say? They're just selling back nostalgia. They're selling back things that we used to have. This game should cost $30 instead of $50 compared to the hundreds of dollars the game costs now. There's some games on this list that cost $200. You want to pay $30 digitally, but you can own it physically for $60 or $80, and y'all said no. See why? Who can win with this shit? Who can win with this shit? I agree that some of these games should be back on that Nintendo should do that. I agree that Nintendo should have a virtual console again. Have the NSO, but still have a virtual console as well too, so people could buy these games outright. That's what Nintendo should do. You'll make money, and for people who don't want to do it, that's what you do that. I think Nintendo do that, and I'm gonna do a video about things that Nintendo should do, because again, I'm trying to do that. That's what they should do. But let's keep it straight. Y'all talk out of the left side of your mouth, talking bullshit. You can't say you'll pay anything, and then when they give you the same thing that y'all asked for, we don't want that. We don't want that. We give you Mario 3D All Stars. I can't believe Nintendo they told you a year. They gave you a year to say, hey, and it was more than a year too, because everybody did videos about that. It was more than you could go to the store and still pick it up years later. 6 months later to pick up the game from Target and Walmart. I showed the video. But anyway. I digress. They told you from the game, hey, get this game, we're going to print it out for a year. It's basically like a limited game runs. We print it for a year. They tell you, how could you take that and make it that? You barely put any effort in the game, blah, blah, blah. It's for a year. Okay. Well, we put a little more effort in Galaxy 1 and 2. It's a combo, and here's the stuff. But you want to get 3D World and 3D Land as a combo, as the video just said. This is why I know games are full of shit. And they just talk out of their ass. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. So forget it. Again, another case of me pointing out how they don't... Your most powerful voice you have in gaming is your freaking wallets. And y'all bitches do not talk with it. You talk the opposite. You say one thing, but you buy one, but you tell your wallet to do the other. So who am I to believe you jackasses? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I myself have no problem because most of those games I have to this day and I can still play anytime, thank God. But those that I ain't got and I have to want to play whatever, it is what it is. I moved on. Life is moving. I got enough games to play for the rest of my life. I'm good. But I'm saying this because of the bullshit that y'all keep on talking about. Stop it. Alright? With that said, remember there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, including PC and mobile devices. Peace out.